Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be here another week with you guys, sharing some of my top purchases. My number one recommendation, and if you've seen my shorts recently, you already know what this one will be. There are various things to take into consideration before buying a walker. We always need like a plan A, B, C, just in case, because sometimes babies get fussy and they want to do something different. This next item, our neighbors actually introduced us to them, and I didn't even know they existed. These are actually indestructible books, worth every penny. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to be here another week with you guys, sharing some of my top purchases for my now 8-month-old. These purchases will probably vary between months 6 to 1 year because every baby develops differently. So it really depends where your baby's at. But hopefully this video will give you some ideas of some quality purchases to get if you're wondering what to get your baby next. If you're new here, my name is Talita and I have 2 boys. One is turning 2.5 years old very soon and the other is obviously 8 months old. If you like this type of content, don't forget to hit that subscribe so you don't miss weekly videos with me. Without further ado, let's get to it. Can't forget the coffee. My number one recommendation, and if you've seen my shorts recently, you already know what this one will be, without a doubt, a playpen. Okay, so the playpen that we have right now is the one we had for our first baby. We used that for so many months with our first. And with our first, we started using it a little bit earlier. I think it was 6 months on. This one specifically, you can use indoor and outdoor. So if you have a backyard and you still have a young baby, but you want them to be outside and in a safe area, in a safe zone where they can't go anywhere and they can't hurt themselves, it's just such a good go-to. Also, I love the playpen for babies that are learning to crawl, babies that, I don't know, they're like starting to sit up so that they have that support still and can practice sitting up more often. There's just so many ways to utilize the playpen. With my first, I remember he would be playing in the playpen, and because it was safe, I could vacuum around the living room where the playpen was at, clean up a little bit, and do some stuff while he was playing safely. And that was so helpful. Playpen is just the best investment you can make if you have a baby. Worth every penny, trust me. The second purchase that we are loving right now for our 8-month-old is a walker. Now, there are various things to take into consideration before buying a walker. First, we rent house, which means there are no second floors here. There's not a basement here. When we do have open spaces, for the most part, we have gates. So it's extremely safe for a walker, which is why I went ahead and purchased it. If you have places where accidents could happen and you're not watching your baby all the time, I highly recommend first taking care of that. Gate the place up, make sure it's completely baby proof before getting the walker, because as great as the walker is, these babies are so good in walkers. They go so fast and accidents can definitely happen. For example, my mother-in-law was actually telling me about an accident my husband had when he was a baby in a walker. He lived in the East Coast and every house pretty much has a basement, and the door of the basement was open and he went all the way over there and fell down the stairs with the walker. which is so scary. You can imagine how guilty she felt and how traumatizing the whole experience was. Thankfully, everything turned out okay, but just sharing the story as like an example of how important it is to make sure that you baby proof the house before getting the walker. But the reason why I love the walker so much is because he can get around. Like, you know, he's 8 months old now. He wants to be mobile, but he can't quite walk yet. So it's a way for him to practice. It's a way for him to get his energy out. And it's also just a great extra activity for him. For example, so if your baby is tired of the activity center and tired of the playpen and they want to do something else, you have the walker. You know, we always need like a plan A, B, C, just in case, because, you know, sometimes babies get fussy and they want to do something different. So to me, the walker has been life-saving. The reason why we bought the walker that we have too is because it has a handle in the back so that when he does start walking or when he is ready to start walking, we can practice by him holding the handle behind the walker and just pushing the walker. Thing that I highly recommend buying if you have a baby that is teething quite a bit are these types of toys. This is a Montessori toy, which we have quite a lot of these, but this is a great one because not only is it for teething, but it's also for many other motor skills. They can pull it, they can like push the buttons, pop this button. So there's a lot of different sensory too that they can feel with this toy, but each little string is a different texture that they can put in their mouth, which is amazing. My son loves this thing. This would be the first thing I would get. I remember for my first, it took me a little while to discover this toy. It was almost too late at that point. So thankfully we kept it for a second. And as soon as it was time to give this to him, I did. And he loves this. This is also a great toy for like car rides and things like that because like I said, there's just so much you can do with this. So he will just stay occupied with this for a very long time. Another type of toy that I really like for teething is this toy, again, with the different textures, sounds. This is a great toy for that. And then this little giraffe, he absolutely loves. However, this came with like a bunch of other teething toys, and I honestly did not love the other ones. This is the only one that I cared for. So I'll link it below if you guys want to check it out. But really, my two favorites are these guys. At any age, music should be, in my opinion, incorporated with kids' toys. It is so important and so good for them to play with different types of instruments, explore different types of instruments. But again, as an 8-month-old, there are only so many instruments that you can play with that are safe. Anything like a shaker would work really well for them to just, you know, explore moving their hands around and hearing the different sounds. These shakers are great. He also uses this a lot. I should probably take the tag out. This is not safe. But he uses this a lot too in his mouth. So there's like the soft spot, and then there's this, and there's different textures on it too, as you can see. So these shakers are great. I highly recommend having them. Sometimes I get a little risky, but only if I'm with him and let him play with these types of instruments. But I am supervising the entire time. And this obviously wasn't bought for him. It was bought for my first. who is a toddler and can't play safely with this. But sometimes, because I have toys from my previous baby, I will let him play under supervision. Highly recommend having some sort of instrument or shaker that they can explore playing with. Those are really fun, and this age they absolutely love it. I think honestly starting at 5 months on, instruments are highly recommended for their development. So even if you have a younger baby, I highly recommend getting that too. This next item, our neighbors actually introduced us to them, and I didn't even know they existed. These are actually indestructible books for kids. Yes, they don't rip. You can wash them. They can chew on them. I mean, it's amazing. And there are many different types of indestructible books that you can buy, but I have Hello Farm and Baby Let's Count, which our neighbors actually were nice enough to give to us. Wish I knew about these earlier, because if you have a baby, you know they put everything in their mouths. It's also non-toxic, by the way. I don't know. I don't even know what else to say about these. They're just so great, and I wish I knew about them earlier, so I had to share this with you guys too. Books wise, at this age, for me, I found he really likes anything that has lots of sounds. Like, this is the age where they're trying to, like, the 8 month age is when they're trying to connect sounds with the object. Like, oh, okay, a cow makes the sound moo. A chicken goes cluck cluck. So if you can help their development around this age, the more you do, the better, obviously. So like books with animals that can make different sounds, the books that come with like sounds too are really fun, whether it's like music or animal sounds. I know there's one that goes through the alphabet. Any type of books like that, I highly recommend at this age. They're really engaging and really fun, and they love those. I hope you guys are able to get some ideas on what to get your baby right now at this stage. I know when I was a first-time mom, I was so overwhelmed with so many different options, and it's just nice to hear from someone that's been there and kind of like has gone through the process before. Thank you so much again for being here. And if you liked this video and found it helpful, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe, share with a mom friend, and I'll see you next time.